sport of skin diving has been increasing by leaps and bounds, and the problems of law enforcement agencies have been increasing right along with it. This boatman was part of an organized plot to steal outboard motors. He was loosening the clamps of an expensive motor and dropping it in the water. If discovered, he'd say it was an accident. His accomplice was an underwater swimmer, and his job was to recover the motor. If questioned, he would say that he found it while skin diving. If not questioned, he had an outboard motor. This type of crime brought me 3,000 miles across the country from Marineland, California, to Silver Springs, Florida. The Florida Highway Patrol was as progressive as the criminals. They decided to organize an underwater patrol, and they asked me to train their best swimmers to become proficient skin divers. I started with two fine-looking officers, Hal Davis and Tom Edwards. Both turned out to be good skin divers, but I didn't know how soon they'd have to prove it. A few days later, it happened again. This time, a New York businessman, James Aladdin, and his daughter Judy were the victims of an underwater crime. While they were peacefully fishing, an unidentified skin diver started swimming up toward the Aladdin cruiser.
Like a man from Mars, except that you came from the wrong direction.
Yeah, I misjudged a little bit. I'm out of air.
Well, come on aboard.
Oh, thank you.
My name's James Aladdin.
I'm Don Martin.
Welcome aboard, Mr. Martin. This is my daughter, Judy.
How do you do?
Miss Aladdin, how's the fishing?
It's a fake. I've read all the books and obeyed all the rules. Fish don't read the same books.
How about you, sir?
Oh, with me, it's just a matter of who cares, just so's I get a minute to relax. Where are you bound for, Mr. Martin?
Thought I'd try a little spear fishing?
Is that a spear gun?
Yes, and it has an explosive head. At close range, it could kill an alligator or a man if he doesn't do exactly as he's told.
Well, I can promise you this man isn't going to argue. You're in the driver's seat, mister. What's next?
Put all your valuables in this bag. Hurry. Everything. You miss out anything, you'll be risking a trip to the undertaker. Now hand it over. Now you start your engine. I'll tell you where to go.
The next lesson was about hand-to-hand combat. How to disarm an opponent with a knife underwater. My two students lived up to everything that I thought about them. Soon they'd become the nucleus of an underwater force that would make Florida's 1,349 miles of coastline safe from illegal underwater activity. Judy and her father had been tied up. They'd also been gagged. Mr. Aladdin had difficulty in breathing. The criminal's next step was to go below with a tow line, swim down, way down to the bottom, and find a log that he could tie the line to. His purpose was to stop the boat from drifting. This would delay the discovery of his act.
You have any trouble clearing your nose?
Had a little throat in my ears. Just threw that up.
Blow on it like that?
Well, what next?
I gotta find some deeper water for you fellas. See how you react to nitrogen narcosis.
What's that?
It's also called rapture of the deep. It's what happens to a diver when he stays down too long in deep water. He gets kind of giddy. He's liable to do anything. The thing to do then, of course, is to go up right away.
Hey, Tom! Now what? Commissioner's in the car. Wants to see you right away.
Okay.
We were driven to the scene of the crime. Mr. Aladdin was rushed to a hospital before we got there, suffering from asthma. The gag almost suffocated him. Miss Aladdin was there to answer our questions.
This is where the cruiser was anchored when the man came aboard.
Where was it when he left it?
Jacob's Inlet, about a mile up that way.
Did you notice the tanks in his back?
Yes,
How many were there?
2.
Were they large ones, or were they small?
They're about that size.
You sure now? It's very important.
Yes, I'm sure.
And you said he had a spear gun. Was the point a sharp one, or was it the blunt one?
It was sharp.
I think we got to go up to Jacob's Inlet.
Okay. Hal, you take Miss Aladdin back to the hospital. All right, Tom.
There's no such thing as a blunt spear. I just wanted to test Miss Aladdin's power of observation before exploring the lake bottom around Jacob's Inlet. We were looking for underwater clues. We had no idea just what they would be. There are no fingerprints underwater, but perhaps we might run into a piece of lost equipment or something. We wanted to know about the entrance and the exit of the robber. A place where we thought he had stood on the bottom. Swimming up and down in a regular pattern, covering every inch of the bottom, we reached the place where he had tied the line to prevent his victim's boat from drifting away. Now we knew the place of his last underwater activity. It was logical to assume that he would leave the lake at the nearest possible point. We swam in that direction. We came out of the water in a sheltered cove and soon learned that our hunch was correct.
Looks like there's been a boat moored here.
Yeah, it sure does. Hey, look at this.
What's that?
That's talcum powder. It's what we use to put our wetsuits on, remember?
Yeah, I see what you mean. We better check this area.
We had found the spot of the criminal's exit. Now we had to find the criminal himself. Compressed air is a skin diver's lifeline. He had to get it somewhere. Maybe I could find the source of the hold-up man's supply. There was only one place in the county where a skin diver could refill his empty tanks.
You know where Waco is?
Right up the end of the walkway there.
Thank you, boy.
And the place belonged to a little old man.
Hi. Hi. You the gentleman they call Waco?
I am.
You keep a record of the customers that you rent these diving lungs of yours to?
I sure do. You skin diver?
Yeah. You do me a favor?
Name it.
Give me the descriptions and names of these customers. You got a record book?
Sonny, I don't keep a record book. That's old-fashioned. I keep my records up here where I don't lose them. Have a seat. You got a pencil and paper?
No, I don't think I have.
Well, there's one there by the telephone, a notebook and a pencil.
This one all right?
That's all right. Now, first is Chuck Phillips. He's 47 years old. Got 2 young'uns, a girl 11.
How tall would you say he is?
He's about 6'2". He rents the old Winky place.
How much would you say that he weighs?
Well, I'd say that he weighs about 180. His wife's ailing. She's been ailing ever since he's been down here this season.
I just came from the hospital. Mr. Aladdin's going to be all right.
Good.
How'd you make out?
Well, I have a detailed description of Waco's 19 customers.
The best the Aladdins could do was he's around 180 pounds, about 6 foot tall, around 40 years old, and he might have a mustache.
I have a mustache, huh? Let's see. He's too young. This sounds like the character Herb Warren. He's a mechanic in Cy Langley's garage.
Well, I'll do some checking on him. I'll drop you off at the motel. You pick up Miss Aladdin. Meet me at Cy Langley's garage in about an hour.
Okay.
Now, she'll have to give me a positive identification, or I can't take him in. Are you Herb Warren?
Yes, sir.
You been on the job all day?
It seems like I'm on a job all the time.
For instance, we were here at 10:30 this morning.
No. Wait till the 1:45 last night. Felt ought to have a couple extra hours sleep.
You do much skin diving?
A little.
Do any this morning?
Not this morning. Why?
Is there anyone that can back up your story about being asleep this morning at home?
Guess not. I don't like to have people around while I'm sleeping. Except Candy.
Candy?
Candy's my cat.
Miss Aladdin, have you ever seen this man before? Well?
I don't know.
Well, is there anything about him you recognize?
Well, I have to be honest, Mr. Edwards. There's something about this gentleman that's familiar, but I can't be sure that he's the man who robbed us.
A robber? Well, I like that. I've been accused of robbing my customers, but no one else.
We're just making a routine check, Mr. Warren. Sorry to have bothered you.
That's all right, sir. Anytime.
It wasn't a positive identification, so later in the day, Tom and I paid another visit to Waco's boathouse.
Hi, Waco. You want to take a look at Mr. Warren's tank?
Sure. Here, it's a doubler. Okay. What you doing, son?
We're going to give Mr. Warren a little surprise. This is tracing liquid.
What's that?
You can't see it in daylight, but it'll stick out like a sore thumb when we put that black light on it.
Black light. What are you fellers giving me?
Show 'em, Tom.
Well, what do you know?
Anything that this tank touches will glow as bright as this tank.
That way we can keep track of Mr. Warren.
Gee, what'll they think of next?
Waco, Mr. Warren comes in to get his tank, act just like nothing ever happened. And phone me.
Can depend on me, son. Can depend on me.
You coming, Mike?
Yeah. How do you thank you, Waco?
Anytime.
Is this Tom Edwards?
That's right.
Listen, this is Waco. You know that feller Warren we were talking about? Well, he come by and took his tank, put it in a boat, and took off.
Which way did he go?
He went towards Jacob's Inlet.
Thanks a lot, Waco.
Anytime.
That must be Warren's boat.
Yeah. Let's put on our equipment, huh? Bubbles. I'll be with you in a minute.
The man had a head start, but Tom was an excellent swimmer. caught up with Tom, but decided to stay in the background. I kept an eye on him, but I was reasonably sure that he could do the job by himself. He remembered everything that I had taught him. The knife attack didn't surprise him. He used a judo hold. His opponent was helpless. I gave him a hand in bringing him to the surface for questioning.
You fellas scared me.
Is that why you're in such a hurry to get away?
Well, sure, I thought you were a couple of robbers.
It's a funny thing. We thought the same about you.
What was that you threw away underwater, Mr. Warren?
I don't remember throwing anything away. Say, what is all of this? I come out here for some peaceful skin diving.
A peaceful man, you put up a pretty good fight.
Well, you know how it is. Man gets panicky. Come up out of the water, you two bearing down on me. Been a lot of robberies here lately.
Yeah, we know.
Callaway 86. Calla 186.
Get in. .186, Ocala, okay.
A stolen robbery reported at Anderson's cottage near Jacob's Inlet.
We're on our way over right now. 186, clear.
Hi, Tom. Hi, Mike.
Whoever pulled this job must have come out of the water. Take a look. You find anything yet, Mike?
Not yet.
Hey, what's he doing?
That tank you were wearing is coated with a tracing liquid that only shows up under ultraviolet ray light. If there's any sign of that liquid on these premises, you're in, Mr. Warren, and I do mean in.
There's one.
Tom went after Warren. I signaled to the other patrolman to let Tom do it all by himself. I knew this was the way he wanted it. He did it like an expert. There's always the time when the student becomes the master. Today, the Florida Highway Patrol is the first in the country with an underwater force. I'm proud that I had something to do with it.
Hi, I'm Lloyd Bridges, inviting you to join us for another action-packed story of underwater adventure 1 week from today.
I was diving off the west coast of Florida, helping out some friends, Marie and Alex Kouros. They were in business for themselves, doing a job that their families had done before them for generations. Sponge diving. I was at the bottom, carrying a net for the sponges and a claw to help gather them. My air supply was running low, and I was about to surface when I heard a strange sound, like bells. I figured that I must have been down too long, that my imagination was playing tricks on me. Then I saw a cave nearby, and the music seemed to be coming from it. As I swam toward the cave, the music grew louder. Suddenly, some powerful force pushed me toward the rocks like a giant hand. I was being sucked into the cave. I held on with all my might to the ledge above the opening and finally squeezed over it to safety. But I had been knocked around like a leaf. Air and sunshine never seemed better than at that moment. My friends in the boat were nearby. I knew they'd be worried, knowing that I didn't have much air left. Give myself a scare, too.
What happened? Well, you won't believe me, and don't laugh at me. But I think I heard bells and music down there.
The Cave of the Mermaid. We must be right on top of it.
Wait a minute, my ears are stopped up. I'd have sworn you said something about mermaids.
Yeah, I did.
Are you kidding?
Alex is not joking, Mike. The bones of my Uncle Elias are down there with her right now.
Now wait a minute. This is America. We're in the 20th century. You were born here. You went to school here.
Yeah, and we don't believe in old wives' tales and childish superstitions either, but there's something
down
there.
But there is a thing that looks like a woman, and it lives in that cave beneath us, and it kills divers.
You saw it?
No, but many others have.
Where are they?
They're dead. They heard the music and they were dragged into the cave and they never came up.
Well, if they're dead, how did you hear about it?
Well, there were some that heard the music, then escaped like you did.
Okay. But I didn't come up with any fairy tales about a mermaid.
Nick Demetrius was pulled into the cave, and then by a true miracle, he got out.
Demetrius saw her. She smiled at him.
Nick Demetrius? The old man who roams around the docks?
Mike. Nick Demetrius is not an old man. I was already diving when he was still called the best diver in Tarpon Springs.
Now his hair is white and his hands shake and he wanders around mumbling to himself.
All because of the mermaid, huh?
Yes, she couldn't kill him, so she drove him mad. When I see him now, it breaks my heart.
Oh.
Hey, Mike, where are you going? Hey, you're not thinking of going back down there again, are you?
Yeah. I got a date with Nick's girlfriend.
Mike, you don't understand. We have sometimes made jokes among the three of us, but now we're serious.
You can believe the stories or not, but there's great danger down there.
Sure, there's an underwater current down there. It's very dangerous.
Well, isn't that enough to stop you?
Nope. Not after that fantastic story you both told me. This I got to see for myself.
Mike, please, I beg of you, don't go.
Oh, don't you worry your pretty little head now. I got a good manila rope there. Alex will make a lifeline for me.
A safety line? Mike, most of the men that died down there were sponge divers. They had safety lines and a full crew to help them. I don't want any part of this.
Nor I.
Well, okay. I'll do without your help.
Mike, you're nothing but a big stubborn fool.
Well, I'm not big enough fool to believe that story about a mermaid.
All right. If you're so set on getting yourself killed, I'm not going to stand in your way. What do you want me to do?
Oh, that's the right attitude. Throw the inner line down to me, huh?
As I approached the cave, I began to hear the bells once more. But I wasn't frightened because the current didn't seem as strong as before, and this time I had a safety line. Alex and Marie weren't giving me much slack, and I came to the end of the line only a few feet from the cave. I decided to take the risk to investigate and cut the line. It was a bad mistake. In the next instant, the tremendous current swept against me again, pushing me toward the rocks. I held onto the ledge for my life, hardly knowing what I was doing.
Marie, come here!
What?
The line's gone slack. Something's happened to Mike.
Oh, no. Alex, what are you going to do? Now, stop it.
Finally, I scrambled over the ledge again. And almost automatically, I opened my rescue parachute. Inflated it with air. Dropped my weight belt and slowly floated toward the surface.
No, I won't let you go, Alex.
Let me go, Marie.
Please, he's dead. You'll only kill yourself.
Somebody's got to save him.
Daddy, he's dead. There's nothing you can do. Look. Come on, Mike. Are you badly hurt? What happened, Mike? Come on. Sit over here.
Get the first aid kit.
I can't breathe. Boy, Nick's girlfriend. She'll put up a good fight.
We warned you, Mike, but you wouldn't listen.
Hurts, huh?
Only when I laugh. Oh.
We're going in. You need a doctor.
Oh, now relax. I'm not that bad off.
You have with a couple of broken ribs.
I'm going to have to do a lot more planning in advance before I tackle that cave again.
Again? Alex, Mike is going back again.
Mike, are you out of your mind?
Yeah, maybe I am. You know that novel, Moby Dick?
Yes.
Well, now I know how Captain Ahab felt about the white whale.
I was back in Tarpon Springs. My ribs weren't broken, but I was pretty bruised. I tried to get interested in other projects, but somehow I just couldn't stay away from that harbor. I walked around aimlessly, looking at the boats and the water. The Mermaid's Cave kept haunting my thoughts, and those strange bells kept ringing in my ears. I knew that I was going to have to return to that cave and solve the mystery. It'd be dangerous, but all our knowledge of the sea comes from people who are more curious than afraid. And to break the power of this local superstition would be a worthwhile achievement.
You Mike Nelson?
Yeah, that's right.
I'm Nick Demetrius.
You didn't see her, did you? No, I didn't.
But you heard the music.
I think I did.
You heard the music. You heard the music. You still hear it.
Tell me. What happened to you?
I don't like to talk about it.
Yeah, I understand. But it'd be a great favor. Please. I need your help.
They said I was the best diver in Tarpon Springs. Maybe I was. But I had to keep on proving it. Anyway, I knew about the legend of the Mermaid Cave. And I had even heard funeral bells ring where there should have been no sounds like that at all. The woman in the cave was supposed to pull men down to their death. But the cave was suddenly there, only a few steps away, and nothing was pulling me. I was a sponge diver, the best sponge diver. And maybe the sponges for which I searched were in the cave. All at once, something was pulling me down, something I could not see to fight against, and then I saw her. She seemed to smile as the cold hands of the dead men pulled me toward her. My air hose was torn apart. Then water came into my helmet, choking me. Then everything was black. darkness ended for me many days later in a hospital room in Tarpon Springs. And I was as you see me now. Since then, I live in a bad dream. I hear the bells and I feel the cold hands pulling me. And always, I see her face.
Nick, there must be some sensible explanation for what happened to you.
She had a beautiful face, Mr. Nelson. But you're a lucky man. You did not see it.
Nick Demetrius' story was a terrifying one, but I learned something from it. Afterwards, I collected and read everything that I could about tidal movements and underwater currents in that area. I studied the available charts of the ocean bottom, and I figured and refigured all the possibilities. I had a theory, but there was only one way of testing it. And if I was mistaken, well, I wouldn't discover that mistake until I died in the cave.
Hi, Mike. How do you feel?
Hi, Alex. Well, I'm as good as new, boy.
Good. Hey, what's all this stuff?
This is the key to the Mermaid Cave.
Oh, no, Mike. You can't
Come here. Take a look at this, Joe. We've never found any sponges in this area here, have we?
No.
The bottom is as clean as if it's been swept by a broom, right?
Yeah, that's right.
You know why?
Well, that's the way that leads to the cave. Mike has got the hand of death.
No, stop it. No, this is a tidal basin, a small one.
So what does that prove?
It proves that Demetrius and Maria's uncle, Elias, and all those divers had the right idea instinctively. There are sponges in this cave.
Are there?
I think there are. See, there's strong currents that run through this basin, and they drag everything in front of them into this cave.
Just like they'll drag you. Look, maybe there are sponges in that cave, but as far as I'm concerned, they can stay there till Judgment Day. I don't want any part of it. You say that the currents account for the men who were trapped and died in there?
Yeah. That's right.
Well, what accounts for the ringing of the bells and that woman that Nick Demetrius saw?
I'll have the answer to those two questions as soon as I come up from the grotto.
Yeah, if you come up from the grotto. Say, Mike, would two men have a better chance down there than one?
Thanks, Alex, but I wouldn't want to take any chance like that. I might be able to escape the wrath of the mermaid, but certainly not your wife's.
So there is something you're afraid of, huh?
Obviously, I'm still a bachelor.
Well, when do we leave?
No, now, Alex.
We'll take my boat. Look, I can be the pilot if I can't be the diver. Only, let's get going, huh? Before I change my mind.
Okay, let's, huh?
My studies and calculations had seemed crystal clear back at Tarpon Springs. But now that we were on our way, I wondered how sure anyone could be when he had to contend with such tricky currents.
Alex, there's a time when it's reasonably safe. It depends on the tide, mostly.
Well, how do you know that?
Well, I don't really. But I do know that the currents are not constant. I noticed that, and so did Demetrius. And I think that I figured out almost exactly when I can count on a minimum amount of turbulence.
For how long?
Well, it's hard to say. It could be for as long as a half an hour.
Or just for a few minutes?
Yeah.
Hey, Mike, do me a favor this time. Don't cut the line.
Well, you give me enough slack and I won't.
Time already?
Yeah, it's just about. I'll see you all later, huh?
Sure. See you later.
Mike. Good luck.
I swam down toward the cave. It was just the time that I figured the currents would be the weakest. If I was wrong, well, anything could happen. But I seemed to be right. The water was calm, and I didn't hear any bells. I was right about the sponges, too. There they were, hundreds of them, and prime ones at that. For a moment, I almost forgot about the mermaid and happily gathered big sponges for Alex and Marie. It was still quiet, so I decided to send up the sponges on my safety line and explore the cave.
Hey, it's Mike.
It's Mike. Oh, Alex.
Sponges!
As I entered the cave, the current began to suck me in again. It didn't seem as strong as before, so I went along with it. There were those bells again. Very faint, but I could hear them. Suddenly, there in front of me was the grim reminder of what might be in store for me. The mournful remains of other divers who had been pulled into the cave before me. The bells were getting louder. The current was getting stronger. I realized that I'd have to get out of there in a hurry, or not get out at all. Then I discovered the secret of the bells. A heavy old anchor chain that clanged as the current ran through. And beyond this, there she was, finally, incredibly, the mermaid.
What's happened to him?
Honey, I don't know.
Well, he's gone. He's gone.
Hey, give me a hand.
Oh, Mike.
Mike.
Oh, golly, Mike. Are we ever glad to see you? Oh, gee.
I see you got my present.
Yeah, prime sponges. From the cave?
That's right. And that's not all. Look.
Well, that's the mermaid?
That's the mermaid. She doesn't look so frightening up here, does she? No, she wasn't so very frightening up here. A carved wooden figure from the prow of an old wreck. Hello there. I'm Lloyd Bridges. You know, 3/5 of the world is covered by the sea. And how little most of us know about that underwater world. Go below with us again next week, huh? For another thrilling adventure in Sea Hunt.
Sometimes the most advanced ideas take us to the most primitive parts of the world. That's why I was diving one summer at the bottom of a remote South American lake. It wasn't rare fish that I was after, but a weed. A weed with special properties. Above me in our boat was my employer, Professor Auerbach, and his daughter. The professor was doing a research project for a pharmaceutical company. He was using the fibers of this plant to make a culture for a new wonder drug that he was developing. He was so devoted to his work that he had made the trip himself into this wilderness, and he was as impatient as a schoolboy. I'd found a good spot and began gathering the plants. It was hard work at that depth, and I couldn't possibly work fast enough or stay down long enough to please the professor. In his enthusiasm, he minimized the problems of working underwater. In fact, all the problems of our project, including the hostility of the local fishermen to this abrupt intrusion of the 20th century into their age-old way of life.
Just after you went below. What do we do?
We ignore them. Pretty hard to ignore a gun. Have you tried talking to him?
Well, I'm a bacteriologist, not a diplomat.
I'll give it a try.
How's your Spanish?
Not too good. Senor, puedo hablarle. Estamos amigos.
Amigos. What is this thing you have on your back?
It gives me air when I'm underwater. I'm just getting this weed here.
You will not be funny with me, mister.
It's the truth. It's a special kind of a weed. It's for this gentleman here. He's a bacteriologist.
What does he want with the weed?
He's going to make a medicine from it.
Medicine? On the bottom of the lake? You think that I believe that? You have come for the fish. You have a way to capture hundreds of them all in one time, huh? You will frighten away the fish as the big steel airboats have frightened away the ducks and they don't come back.
Steel airboats?
No, you must mean a jet plane. There's a jet airbase nearby. Look now. We're telling you the truth. We're not after your fish.
We stay. We wash.
Well, let's move to another spot. Bottom of the lake must be covered with these weeds. What if it isn't? I'll waste a lot of time looking around for another spot. I'll pitch in and help. I'll dive alongside.
Oh, I don't think that's wise.
I think it's very wise. Come on, Pedro. Any reason why he shouldn't dive?
No reason.
Thought you said he was an expert diver.
He is.
Well, what's the problem, then?
No problem. Being his daughter, I have a right to worry about him, don't I?
of them anyway. I hope so.
How you feel?
Trimasini, I'll beat you down by 50 feet.
You've dived deep water, huh?
Yeah, it's 100 feet or so.
That's a lot deeper here.
Dad, now you be careful.
Now, both of you are acting like I'm a 10-year-old going in for his first swim. Well?
Dad, your glasses.
Oh.
For an old man, the professor seemed to handle himself unusually well, even though he wasn't accustomed to diving, especially at these depths. It seemed to me that Marion had no reason to worry about him. Another bed of plants, and Professor Auerbach was very pleased. All he could think of was his precious plants and gathering them as fast as he could. But I knew that overexertion at this depth could be extremely harmful, especially if you aren't used to it. So after a while, I suggested that we call it a day. The professor started up. I followed. Then it happened. The sudden appearance of a big alligator was too much for the professor. He knew that they wouldn't bother a diver, but panic made him forget everything. He shot to the surface as fast as he could. The rapid change of pressure was sure to be dangerous, but he was gone before I could stop him. I had to go up slowly myself, for the change in pressure would get me, too.
Pedro! Pedro! Hurry! Hurry!
Take your standards.
It's about time. Where were you?
How bad are they?
Oh, it's unbearable.
What's happened to him?
It's a bad case of the bends. Come on, Pedro. Help me.
For heaven's sakes, what are you doing?
The only thing I can do. Take him back. No.
Are you out of your mind or something?
Take it. You're going to kill him.
Kill him?
Yes. He needs a decompression chamber.
A decompression chamber, but we don't...
There's no time to explain. Every second counts. Give me that marker board, huh, Pedro? Hold it. Hold it, Pedro. Now listen. You're going to feel all right. Much better when you get down there. You understand? Hand me those weight belts, huh? When we get down.
Oh.
Does he fix his mask all right? You got your mouthpiece? All right, let's go. Put him around his shoulder, huh? That's right. The other one? Okay, fella. Let's go.
Marion was almost hysterical.
But there was no time to explain to her how her father's body had become riddled with tiny air bubbles. A return to the heavy pressure below would get rid of those bubbles and keep more from forming. This would give the professor some relief. But he couldn't stay down there very long. Bringing him slowly to the surface in the usual way wouldn't be adequate now. His body had had a terrible shock. He needed several hours of decompression, the kind that he could get only inside a chamber. This signal line was now his only link with us, and with life. A link that would be broken permanently if we couldn't find a decompression chamber. A hopeless task in this wilderness.
He's down below. You left him down there by himself?
I had to. That's all I could do. We need help. Oh, no. That's all we need. Well, it gives me an idea. Keep your eye on that marker down there. Let me know if your father signals. G57, G57, calling anyone, emergency. G57, G57, calling anyone, emergency, over.
Delmonico here. What is your trouble? Over.
I want to contact the jet air base near Lake Valdez, over.
Just a minute. I will look up the band and call number. Over.
Hurry, please, over. Now, don't worry. He'll be all right for a while. I checked his air, I checked everything.
What if we can't get help?
Well, we'll find another way.
What way? You know there's nothing out here.
G57, Delmonico, over.
This is G57. Come on in, Delmonico. Over.
That Valdez Air Base call number is G-64. Ban 20-40. Over.
Roger. Thanks. G57, over and out. Come in, G64.
G57, this is G54.
This is an emergency. We have a case of the bends here, and we're miles from any decompression chamber. Over.
G57, bring him to the airbase immediately for treatment.
There's no way to get him there in time. Now listen, this is what I have in mind. I've done some work with pressure suits back in the States. Your Air Force uses them for high altitude flying, isn't that right? Over.
Yes, over.
That's what I figured. Now, how quick can you fly one to me? We're in the north end of Lake Valdez. Over.
G57, it will take 20 minutes.
That's great. Tell them to look for a smoke flare, huh? Hurry. G57, over and out. Well, got ourselves a pressure suit.
Poor Dad. I never did understand what the bends were. Must be awful.
The bends are, well, they're kind of like opening a soda pop bottle too fast. The sudden release of pressure creates all those bubbles. When your father came up too fast, the sudden release of pressure on him created all those bubbles in his body. And nitrogen bubbles all throughout his whole system. They're very painful, and they can be fatal unless you get rid of them right away. The only way to do that is to cap the bottle or take your father down to the bottom again.
Well, I thought we needed a decompression chamber for that.
We do. That's a little too heavy to drop. Next best thing to it is the pressure suit.
Will it really work?
Well, I don't know if it's ever been tried before, but it should work. The Air Force uses it for supersonic flights at tremendous altitudes. And the body undergoes the same kind of pressure changes down below as it does up there. Look at that. Market boy, get that extra tank for me, will you? Now, if that jet comes by, be sure and put up a smoke flare, huh?
On the way down, I hoped and prayed that all he needed was another tank of air. Back to the surface now with no decompressor waiting for him would be inviting death. But he was losing consciousness. I had to take him up now.
But wait.
Wait? How much longer can we wait? Look at him.
Listen. Pedro, get that smoke flare. Turning around. He's gonna come in low before he drops it. There he comes.
Look! The pressure suit!
Take it, senor.
Wouldn't do you any good. It was dropped for us.
Carlos, you will bring it in the boat.
The other man on my boat is very sick. His life depends on this.
Carlos.
If I don't get this to him in time, I'm going to hold you responsible for his death.
Get in the boat. We will see.
Here, help me. Gonna be all right now, fella? Is he all zippered up there? On your side? Now, give me the hose, huh? All right, kick it over. Works. Give me that folder.
The pressure suit would only become effective when attached to an air compressor. I wasn't sure if the one we used for our diving lungs would do the trick, if the two fishermen would leave us alone long enough to use it. We had to follow the tables which prescribed how much pressure to use and how long to use it.
How long will it take?
Hours. It's like bringing him up to the surface very, very slowly.
Is he out of danger?
A little prayer might help.
Carlos, escopeto. Senor, you steal this from the bottom. It is food for our fish.
Plenty more where that came from.
It belongs here. It belongs to us.
Listen, the fish belong here too. But you catch them and sell them, don't you?
See, we sell.
All right. Why don't you catch this weed and sell that to us?
You pay?
Yeah, sure, we pay. Professor needs a lot of this. Much more than we can gather.
How much you need?
Enough to keep you busy when you're not catching any fish.
We had brought the professor back to surface pressure. Time and rest would complete the cure.
How do you feel, Dad?
Sorry I behaved so badly down there, Mike.
Forget about that. You're okay, that's the important thing. And you found what you were looking for.
Yes. Yes, how soon will I be able to start gathering the weed?
If I were you, I wouldn't worry about that.
I'll worry, of course I worry. We only have them. Great Scott, where did he come from? Well, look at him, he's going to take the weed.
No, he's going to find you some more. I made a deal with him while you slept.
Alfonso, ¿habláis muy bienes?
Sí.
¿Mucho dinero?
Sí. Ven out por él.
Here. Hey, take this. But be careful.
Gracias.
Ándele.
This is G64. G64. Calling G57. Over.
G57, come on in, G64.
How did the pressure suit work out?
It worked. Thanks. G57 over and out.
Well.
Professor Auerbach got his plants after all, and the local people were given a small introduction to what was to become a new prosperity and a new way of life.
Hello there. I'm Lloyd Bridges. You know, 3/5 of the world is covered by the sea, and how little most of us know about that underwater world. Go below with us again next week, huh? For another thrilling adventure in Sea Hunt.